How good is this Dallas Stars new top line? We preview the Detroit Red Wings. And what grade would you give the Dallas Stars on their off-season acquisitions? That's all coming up next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. So we've just had a taste of this new trio for the Dallas Stars, but how good are they? There's a few numbers that I have to throw out to you, and you can be the judge about where they rank amongst the best in the NHL this season. The Dallas Stars wrap up their 4-game road trip tonight in Detroit, looking for another win against the Red Wings and a valuable 2 points. And then what grade, a letter grade, would you give the Dallas Stars for their off-season additions? It may be very clear for some. Maybe others have a different idea about where you believe the Stars should have added some depth, so to speak. So would love to hear your feedback and comments on the Dallas Stars offseason now that we have some time to digest what they have done and we kind of get some results from those additions. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. So much to get into and plenty to talk about today. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. So I had this thought bubble yesterday. How good is this new top line of Roope, Hintz, Jason Robertson, and Wyatt Johnston? Because, of course, the eye test, it's popping. It's popping off the screen. They look phenomenal, and it looks like it's going to take over from that line that's been carrying the Stars for seasons now of Hintz, Pavelski, and Robertson. You flip-flop Johnston in there. He's playing wing now, and boom, they are creative. They have scored some highlight reel tallies, and man, they're fun to watch. So there's some numbers, and you have to take these with a grain of salt. Of course, they have not played a ton of hockey together, but I think it gives you a glimpse and a little sample, a taste, if you will, of what's to come for this line, which could be around forever. They could be around forever because those three are pretty much a part of your core. So they've only played 45 minutes together, but their expected goal percentage is 84.1%. That's a total of 4 games. That's the best so far in the NHL. Maybe not something you want to take home and write home about, but expected goals per 60 minutes, 4.87, and that's in the top 5. Expected goals against per 60 is 0.92, which is also top 5. And yes, the other trios that are up there only average about 45 to 58 minutes. The one trio that is up there ranked that's played over 200 minutes this season is Connor McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. I wonder why, because McDavid makes everything work. But I think that's a really good glimpse of what's going on for Robertson, Hintz, and Johnston just in the 4 games that they've played together. 4.87 expected goals per 60 minutes, and then their expected goals against is also top 5, which is no surprise because most of the time they're playing in the offensive zone, so their defensive numbers are going to be very, very good. And then when you take a look at other Dallas Stars lines like Marchment, Sagan, and Duchene, their expected goals per 60 minutes is 2.94. They've played in over 430 minutes of time on ice together this season. And by my money, you would probably believe that this line would have a higher expected goals per 60 minutes. And maybe that's a bit too far-fetched, but that's how talented this line is. And I think you can pretty much project that. The Robertson, Pavelski, Hintz line came in at expected goals per 60 minutes at 2 6.6. So, of course, that's projecting a bit, but I think you have to feel really good about where that line is at just over 4.5 expected goals per 60. Yeah, it's probably going to come down a bit because they've only played 40 minutes together, but I think you can kind of get an idea about how good they are. These are some numbers that I really loved and I think holds a bit more weight is shot attempts per 60 minutes and shot attempts for and against. So in the 4 games they've played together, they've already generated 73 shot attempts. Robo leads the team in shots on goal this season. He's usually amongst the NHL best too. So he's going to, of course, help those numbers. But shot attempts against is just 34. Shot attempts for per 60 minutes, 96.02. And that's in the top 5 of the NHL. So I really like that. I think holds some weight that they're generating chances. And of course, their Corsi percentage is really, really good over the last few games. It's been the best on the team, hovering around 60%. So they're controlling possession. They have the puck on their stick, and they're making plays. And I don't have to tell you that. You can see it against New Jersey. Even the other night against the Islanders, they're making things happen constantly. And their ability to score off the rush is what makes that so intriguing because, yes, they can kind of play the cycle game and they can get interior, but off the rush with those 3, because Johnston is such a great facilitator along with Roope, but Rope's still the driver of the line where he's carrying in with speed or he's cutting to the net. It opens up so many more holes for Robertson to get going. It's partially why he's having such a good month. Just in the month, Robertson has 12 points alone. All of that hasn't been just with Hintz and Johnston, but you also see an uptick in offense from Johnston this month, putting him on the wing. He's got 7 points in 11 games this month. Roope Hintz has 5 goals, 4 assists. The number that I really love about Wyatt Johnston and what makes this line so deadly and hopefully moving forward they stay together is even strength goals. Wyatt Johnston has 4. That's tied for second on the team with Robertson. This team has to be able to score at even strength because their power play, which is just outside the top 10, has not been as consistent and as dialed in as it was last year when they were top 5 in power play percentage. It just hasn't quite had that punch this season. Maybe with Miro coming back, more reps, they kind of get that going, but it just hasn't been as consistent as you would have liked. Even strength can carry some weight. Sagan's been having such a phenomenal year at even strength. He leads the team in goals this season. He actually leads them in the month with 6. But Wyatt Johnston, 4 even strength goals. Unlocking him as a productive player after that 20-game slump is huge. But this new top line, I think, has a chance to be one of the best in the NHL. And you're talking about 3 guys that are in their primes of their career. And you could even argue maybe Robertson is just on the cusp of it. Johnston's probably 1 to 2 years away. Roope's kind of right in the middle of it. Robo, you probably would think another year, then he's kind of right there. He's still in the infancy of it. And Johnston for sure is about a year to 2 away. I mean, he was just a rookie last year, which is kind of mind-boggling to think about. He's only 20 years old. He's still got about 2 more years before he's right in the cusp of his prime. Man, this is a line to watch out for moving forward, and I hope Pete DeBoer sticks to it. He's obviously had the itch and to scratch to change up the trios because it was something we did not see last year, like whatsoever. Every once in a while he would, but I mean, maybe 2 to 3 times he did it a season ago. And this year, it's been a bit more shuffling, and he's not been afraid to scramble it up and make some decisions, which I backed him on. I think it's a great idea. Don't be satisfied. make some things happen. The Ben, Johnston, and Dadonov line was not working anymore. They needed to shuffle some things up. Moving Dadonov to that fourth line, I think, adds a nice speed element and some skill. And look, every button he's pushed has worked. They've been a very, very productive offensive team. We have more concerns about the defense, and I feel like I've already had my 2 cents on that because we spent a whole month on it. Like, what else do you want us to talk about? I'd rather be positive and and show some love to the offense. Don't worry, the defense will get their due time. I'm sure we'll have plenty to be upset about moving forward in the final 30 games they have left in the season. But yes, this new top line for the Stars is one of the best right now, and I think moving forward about a month from now to 2 months will be the best trio in the National Hockey League. I really do. It's so good. And from what I'm seeing, I love it. They just make plays. They're creative. Most of the time, they're playing in the offensive zone. They forecheck well, even with not having overly physical guys. Robertson, not a physical presence, so to speak, but he's really big. He's really big, and he uses his body well. Johnston is so good in the corners, and they just manipulate the puck in such tight areas. God, they're so fun to watch going tic-tac-toe with each other, and they can score some highlight reel goals. They have played such an entertaining brand of hockey, and that line really embodies it. So they've struck gold with this new trio. We'll see how long it lasts, hopefully for the rest of the year, because who knows what kind of damage they can do against opponents if they keep those three together. So fun. And they'll try to take down the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Stars finishing off a 4-game road trip, a chance to take 5 out of the possible 8 points, which I would declare as a good road trip. And they got 2 more before the All-Star game break. The All-Star break that is quickly approaching here at the end of the month. Let's go ahead and preview the Red Wings, the Kaneless Red Wings, in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind when you purchase. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out, and you can also buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. They're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. You have the NFC and AFC championship games if you don't happen to live in Dallas, because you'll never see a championship game. I kid, but it feels like that's the real reality we have to live in. But if you live somewhere else that is hosting one of those championship games, go to Game Time. You want to go to a basketball game, you got concerts, theater, whatever you're looking to go to, use Game Time, and you can get $20 off your first purchase when you use the code Locked On. Game Time is so great. As I mentioned, you can see your seat before you buy it, so you don't have to worry about any obstructions, and you can take all the guesswork out of buying tickets. So right now, all Game Time users actually get $100 off a big game ticket with code Vegas100. Terms apply. Just download the Game Time app and use code Vegas100, VEGAS 100 for $100 off a big game ticket. Or if you're not going to the game, you can just use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So the Stars meet the Detroit Red Wings once again in the month of January. The Stars beat them down pretty good. They put up 6 goals, which I believe they've put up 6 or more. 5 or 6 times this season? It may be even more than that. I need to confirm that, but I think they've scored almost 6 or more 8 times this season. I want to say is the number, which is like tied for the most in the National Hockey League. They've been just so deadly offensively. And they wrap up the season series as well. So they met on December. Sorry, it wasn't in January. They met in December. That was that long ago? I could have sworn that was like 2 weeks ago when the Stars played the Red Wings. Man, time has just been flying by. I never know what day it is half the time, even when I'm recording. So apologize for that. Just a brain fart there. Anyways, Stars in Detroit. Patrick Kane was not available last game when they took down the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. We will know more later on today, but he's still listed with a lower body injury. He's been out for 7 days now. We'll have to see an update on Craig Smith. Stars did not have a media availability yesterday or an update for media. So no word on Smith, no word on Jake Oettinger, if he'll be good to go. He did come down with the flu yesterday. I know after last Sunday's game, I did the episode, and I saw after I had recorded that they put the update out that, yes, Otter did have the flu. So we'll see if he's ready to go. Seems like the flu bug is kind of going around the Stars right now. We'll get an update on Smith because his was not a sickness. He started the game and then he never came out for the second period, and he was listed as questionable. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with Craig Smith. Unfortunately, Smith may be out, but it does give an opportunity for Ty Dellandrea to jump in because it's been really hard for him to crack the lineup. It's just the Stars have been kind of rocking with their lineup, and even in losses, DeBoer has kept Dellandrea as a healthy scratch. And I like Dellandrea. I would love to see him play. I wish he was an everyday player, but I understand that the Stars want to try to find some consistency, and maybe he's just the odd man out. Faksa provides a lot of value. Yes, he hasn't been the most offensive offensive specialist in his career. He's just not, but he wins a lot of faceoffs. He's a good penalty killer, and he's good in his defensive zone. I think they're living with Smith, who kind of brings that edge and speed, kind of like a Dellandrea type player. And now with Dadonov on that fourth line, then you get some really nice speed plus some skill. So maybe he's just the odd man out. And Sim Steele's been great. He has to play too. That's kind of the unfortunate aspect. I just think there's a lot of good players, especially forwards, a lot of guys to go around for DeBoer, and you have to be playing really, really well to get in. I don't see any reason Sam Steele should come out of the lineup. I don't see any reason Smith should come out of the lineup, and I don't really see a whole lot of reason for Faksa to come out of the lineup either. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But since the last time we've seen those Detroit Red Wings still playing very, very good. They're fourth in the Atlantic Division, 53 points, 24, 17, and 5 this season in a wild card spot. Their offense really good, 162 goals this season. That's fourth in the National Hockey League. Defense is below average. They've allowed 151. So you can get to them. Their special teams has been okay, pretty average in both aspects, 20% on the power play, 80% on the PK. They're led by their captain, Dylan Larkin, 41 points in 40 games. Debrincet is so good, especially with the help of Patrick Kane that just got added. But he's got 17 goals on the season. Patrick Kane's been insane too, by the way. In case you haven't heard, since he's joined them, 16 points in his first 19 games. So his injury did kind of hinder the Red Wings. So maybe you would think, Detroit has been fine without them, but he added something. He definitely added something. They have such great veterans too. Daniel Sprong, who averages just under 13 minutes of ice time this season, has 12 goals this year. Andrew Kopp, who played with Winnipeg for a while, 22 points this season. Perron is another guy that's just so respected and so good. And they got some very talented guys on the back end with Lucas Raymond and Gostisbehere, who's having a bit of a resurgence this season too. They're a real solid team. Their net mining hasn't been spectacular from guys other than Alex Lyon. He's been good. 924 save percentage, 2.47 goals against average. They're one of those teams that's been kind of rolling like a 3-goalie system and just kind of riding the hot hand, because Husso and Reimer have not been great. But Alex Lyon has been really, really good in 17 starts this season. He was the netminder, if you remember, too, actually started the playoffs for the Florida Panthers last year before he was pulled for Bobrovsky. And we all know how that ended up in that glorious run to the Cup Finals. So, yeah, that's where we stand with the Detroit Red Wings, about a month removed from that first meeting. 7-2-1 in their last 10. Larkin has 7 points in his last 5. So always look out for number 71. It'll be a fun little matchup. The Stevie Yzerman plan is in full swing. They are in full swing. Stevie Y has got the Detroit Red Wings back on top. I love these games too. Always reminds me of the old Central Division battles back in the day. I miss when they were in the West. So fun to watch the Red Wings and Stars play. Just always big games, it feels like. And of course, the Red Wings were a juggernaut for like 30 years. And now they're trying to return to that. They're not there yet, but they're trying to return to that. So it should be a good one tonight. Stars wrapping up their 4-game road trip, looking for 5 out of the 8 points possible. Then they have Washington and Anaheim to wrap up before the All-Star break. Okay. What grade, give me a letter grade, would you give the Dallas Stars for their off-season acquisitions? Let me know in the comments below. I'll give you mine in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Sleeper. We're past the halfway point in the season, Stars fans. There's been plenty of highs and lows, but regardless of where the Stars are in the current standings, they're third place in the Central Division. Seems like they're going to be there for a while, unfortunately. I want to remind you, though, that you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. You can pick these studs of the National Hockey League, like the McDavids, like the Crosbys, the McKinnons, and you just have to record more or less on Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, even plus minus in a given game, and you could win 100 times your bet on Sleeper. All you have to do is correctly predict the outcome of 8 of those stats, and you could win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. You heard me right, Stars fans, 100 times your money. So start paying attention. Nail those picks, and you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and with location availability. Hey, Stars fans, the Dallas Stars taking on the Red Wings tonight. Dylan Larkin versus Jason Robertson, the two hottest Stars and Red Wing respectively. You can take them on, or you can actually take them in with the hometown broadcast on Sirius XM on the SXM map. Go ahead and search Stars. Also, be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel covering all the top stories with the Locked On national shows. Great stuff over there. Be sure to subscribe to Locked On Stars. Hit that notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. You can follow me on the Twitter thing, the X at JoeyTheJet19 as well. I put plenty of stuff on there too. I never stop. I should get off Twitter a lot more than I probably on it, but I love it. Okay. I really do enjoy it. Anyways, what grade would you give the Dallas Stars on their off off-season acquisitions. I'm curious to see how some people feel due to the fact that they've pretty much hit on all of them, right? It's really, really clear. They've hit some home runs. Matt Duchene is the best value in the National Hockey League. I haven't said that in a while, so it feels good to return to that. He is the best value in the National Hockey League. Matt Duchene has had such an incredible season for the Dallas Stars. So I would say that is a home run. I've also really, really liked the Craig Smith pickup. I'll have to be honest, at the beginning of the free agency period a season ago, I saw Smith. I just kind of was like, okay, yeah, they needed a depth piece. They did lose Glendening. They did lose Kivi Ranta. So yeah, they needed a depth piece. Craig Smith's a good player, veteran guy. Not upset about it. He's been everything and then some this season. I really, really love his game. I thought he's been so good. And he's added such a great depth piece for the Stars' fourth line. He's pretty much Glendening kind of in a nutshell, but he's quicker. And he's provided a bit more offense than Glendening did, which is huge. I mean, 8 points, it's nothing crazy to think about. But for a guy that's just playing 10 minutes, he plays hard minutes. He probably should have close to 10 goals this year. I feel like he's hit a ton of pipes and he's had better chances. But I think that's been a really good pick. And Sam Steele has been just great. I mean, since December came, the holiday season, Sam Steele has been one of the more consistent players in the lineup. He has been so good. I said it before the season. I think he's going to become a fan favorite because he just plays that fourth line role. And now he's played so well. He's been elevated, which is great to see. 14 points in 41 games. You have to be thrilled if you're a Stars fan for someone that's playing 13 minutes a night. And he was a first-round pick from years ago. But you have to remember that. So there's a reason he was a first-round pick. And he had 28 points a season ago, which was a career high. Looks like he's going to get near that, maybe smash that with the opportunities he is getting playing now with Ben and Pavelski. Have loved his game. All en route, I would give them an A. I don't know how you don't really give them an A unless you have some reservations because they didn't add any pieces to the defense. And look, I completely agree and I hear you. But for the moves that they made and the ones that they hit on, I mean, it's more like an A++, which is been phenomenal, especially they went out and they needed to add some pieces on their, bottom six. And they went and got them, and I think they've hit home runs on good deals too. I mean, Matt Duchene with 41 points in 45 games has been everything and then some. So would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, they needed to get some help on the blue line, but I can understand their thought process too about, well, we got Lundqvist who got a year under his belt. Maybe he learned he's going to improve. Harley, of course, I believed was going to be playing this good, but they were like, okay, yeah, he's an everyday NHL guy now. They were hoping maybe some more of their defensive solutions internally were going to pan out, and that just didn't really happen. And, well, you're going to have to lay in the bed that you made, right? So they have some decisions to make. And look, we're on the stance that they must make a move to improve this defense. This D-corps needs help, even when Miro Heiskanen returns. They need help. It hasn't been that great, even when he's in the lineup. So plenty of decisions, but I would give the Dallas Stars an A for their off-season grade. So let me know your off-season grade for the Stars additions. And so that goes ahead, if that's how I want to word this, and segue into which wraps up today's episode of Locked On Stars. As always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Enjoy Dallas Stars hockey tonight. I'll be back. We'll have a reaction. We'll break it down tomorrow. Hopefully a Stars win, and we got 2 games remaining before a very nice break. A nice break. And an All-Star game, which should be fun to watch. Jake Oettinger headed to the All-Star game in Toronto for the Dallas Stars. Hopefully Otter's good to go. Keep an eye out for any of the information. I'll be sure. Follow us on Locked On Stars too. Be sure to do that because I retweet a lot of the updates that are happening in the Dallas Stars world. So if you want to get some quick reactions on news from the Stars, like maybe Otter's ready to go, we'll see what's going on with Craig Smith and all that good stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.